was still dreaming when I felt my whole body being shaken. Then, I heard a familiar voice calling me.
Mom, wake up! We have to go to the party!
I sat up, trying to regain my sanity, when, at this point, the person in front of me came over and hugged me.
Mom, I'm going downstairs and waiting for you. You've got to hurry up. We're going to be late.
Hi, I'm Eva, and I'm 24 years old, and this is my daughter, Rosy, who is 8 years old. Yes, you're not hearing it wrong. Rosy is actually my daughter. At the age of 16, I started becoming a mother. Please like and subscribe to this channel to listen to my story. My parents died very early, and since childhood, I had lived with my older sister, Emma. Emma was like my second mother. After graduating from university, Emma got a job as a secretary for the director of a large enterprise. A year later, she married Jack, a brilliant guy. Emma took me to live with her and her husband. My brother-in-law was a sales manager at a well-known real estate company in the city. Like Emma, Jack loved me as a sibling, so we got along very well. 2 years after her marriage, Emma gave birth to a cute baby named Rosy. Rosy was plump, pinkish white, and had big round eyes. I liked Rosy so much that every day, when I came home from school, I always ran to my sister's room to hold her. Rosy liked me a lot too. When she played with me, she would laugh and look very happy. I thought life would be peaceful forever. But a short time later, a big incident hit my family. Emma and Jack had the misfortune to get into a traffic accident. Oh no! I was shocked. When I heard the news, I immediately ran to the hospital. However, my brother-in-law passed away, and Emma fell into a deep coma. A week later, Emma was still in coma. I took a temporary leave of absence from school to take care of her, and I had to ask a neighbor to look after Rosy. I couldn't handle it all if no one was around. I was terrified at the thought of the worst-case scenario. I kept praying that God wouldn't take my sister away. That day, I went to the hospital and saw Emma awake. I was so happy that I immediately ran to hug her. However, things were not as good as I thought because the doctor told me to mentally prepare for the worst case. Eva, please take care of Rosy on my behalf of me. It's all counting on you. I understand what Emma was trying to say. I burst into tears. No, I can't. Please, don't leave me and Rosy. Emma, you will definitely get better. You cannot give up.
No, Eva. I know my condition. Promise me that you'll live well. Promise me that you won't abandon Rosy.
Sister, I promise. I was looking forward to a miracle, but nothing happened. After a conversation with me, Emma was gone forever. Since then, I became Rosy's mother at the age of 16. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I had no choice. In addition to my parents and sister, I had an aunt named Jenny, but she lived in another city, and we hadn't met each other for a long time. At that time, I really needed help. I took the initiative to ask my aunt to be Rosy's guardian because I was still underage. Knowing my current situation, my aunt was very sorry, so she agreed. However, her part was on paper, and the responsibility for carrying Rosy was still mine. Every time I saw Rosy, I felt heartbroken. I started learning to be a mother, although it was a little awkward, but at least I didn't let Rosy be hungry. However, taking care of a child was not easy. A few weeks later, Rosy began to exhibit a change in perception. She always called out, "Mama, Mama," when she looked at Emma's legacy, and my heart sank at such moments. I burst into tears and hugged Rosy confidently. I told myself that I would replace Emma and become a good mother to fill in trauma of this poor child. I applied for a 3-month reservation, and now it was mandatory to go back to school. I couldn't bring Rosy to school with me, so I decided to hire a babysitter at home with the money I had inherited from my sister. I posted information in job boards, and soon someone came to apply. Her name is Alice, and she was about 40 years old. Alice's job was to feed Rosy, put her to bed, and bathe her. And the rest of the time, Alice would play with Rosy until I got home from school. I thought everything would go well, but within a few days, I saw the anomaly. Rosy suddenly appeared scared and clung to me without letting go. I asked Alice, and she said that while taking Rosy for a walk, Rosie was threatened by the neighbor's cat, so she was like that. This reason was not very convincing. So the next day, I asked the teacher to leave a little earlier so I could go home and observe. I gently opened the door and... oh no! I saw Rosie being physically impacted. Alice ignored Rosie's crying, and she just sat idly watching television. Suddenly, my maternal instinct flared up. I shouted angrily. As soon as Alice saw me, she panicked and explained that it was just a misunderstanding. But I couldn't accept that action. I fired Alice and didn't forget to hand over to the police. Afraid that the same thing would happen again, I didn't hire a babysitter anymore. Instead, I took Rosie directly to the school with me. To be honest, I was under a lot of pressure because since I moved to this school, I'd always been the focus of teasing. After all, I wasn't as rich as my other friends. Now that I brought a kid to class and she called me Mama all the time, the onslaught grew.
Look, Eva goes to school with her daughter.
She's too young to have a baby. Isn't she spoiled?
Probably not a good girl.
Well, here we are, our great exemplary mother. Guys, bow politely in greeting.
They gloated when they embarrassed me. I was very sad and upset. Rosie, on the other hand, fussed constantly when she met strangers because she was obsessed with Alice hurting her. All of that quickly reached the superintendent's ears. My school was a model school, so they wouldn't accept students coming to class with their children, let alone me, who was only 16. The superintendent called me and reprimanded me. Being alone, isolated, and without sympathy, I was desperate. I couldn't drop out halfway, but I couldn't abandon Rosie. Now that Rosie seemed to be increasingly sensitive, I was afraid that it would affect her psychologically. So I decided to move to another city, where Aunt Jenny lived. This was probably the best option for now. At the end of the day, I would come to pick her up. Life passed by like that until I went to university. Rosie went to kindergarten at that moment, so I had more time to study and work. The life of a single mother was naturally very difficult. But with my strength, I gradually adapted to the trajectory of my current life. After graduating from university, I went to work for a travel agency in the city. However, I didn't take remote tours to make sure I'd finish work within the day and go home with my kid. My boss knew my situation, so he happily accepted it. That day, I was invited to a friend's birthday party, so I came home quite late. On the way to the train station, suddenly someone blocked my way. Looking at his tall, scruffy figure, I began to tremble. At this time, the streets were relatively deserted, and I did not know who to call for help. Oh God, he walked up next to me. Who are you? Get out!
Hey lady, obediently hand over all your valuables here, and I'll forgive you. If you're reasonable, you'll be alive. Otherwise, don't blame me. No one around here will be able to help you.
Please, spare me.
Hurry up. You're wasting my time.
I reluctantly complied, taking my wallet and my phone and handing them to him. Until the necklace on my neck was touched. No, I can hand over it to you.
It looks pretty valuable. Give it to me.
I struggled to escape from the man. I couldn't let him take away the necklace. It was the only memento that Emma had left me. I shouted loudly, "Help me! Anyone? Help me, please!" Luckily, at that time, a guy appeared. He bravely rushed in to hit the rubber and dragged me fast into an alley.
Are you okay? It was so dangerous that if I didn't arrive in time, I didn't know what would happen.
Thank you very much. I thought I would be done today.
It's late. Why are you out all alone?
I went to a friend's birthday party. I didn't think I would encounter such a bad thing like that.
Ava, don't worry. I'll take you home. No one would dare harm you again.
The nice guy offered to take me home. The incident earlier still scared me a lot, so I agreed. As I sat on the train, I noticed the appearance of the boy sitting next to me. He was tall, handsome, and extremely attractive. The blue eyes and platinum hair. He introduced himself as Leo, who had just moved to the city a few days ago to accept a job. I also introduced myself for ease of address. As Leo said, he was a tour guide. I was surprised when we found a coincidence, so on the way home, we talked a lot. Leo and I exchanged our contact numbers. I hope that in the future, this relationship could go further. The next day, I had to go to work a little early because a new colleague arrived. When that person walked in, I really didn't dare believe my eyes. It was Leo. Leo appeared in a white shirt and flat-fronted trousers. This look of his once again attracted me. Since working together, our relationship had gotten better and better. We had more time to interact and get to know each other better. Shortly after, we decided to date. He was considerate and caring, and he always cared for me, even about the smallest things. There was a time when we were walking down the street. Leo and I met a boy who had lost his parents and sat crying loudly on the street. At that point, Leo rushed over and coaxed him. After that, he helped the boy find his parents, and then he left with peace of mind. This guy was really warm. I thought I'd chosen the right person. Leo, do you like children very much?
Well, kids always make us feel good.
If you had children, you would love them dearly, wouldn't you?
Of course, honey. I hope that in the future, we will have a full family.
I was really happy to hear those words. We had been dating for a while, but I hadn't had a chance to talk about Rosy yet. However, seeing that Leo loved children so much, I didn't think it would be a big deal. I decided to wait until Rosy's birthday to take him home and introduce him. Today, while eating lunch, my head suddenly went dizzy. Just as I felt myself slowly falling into a trance, a hand came running to support my whole body. And after that, I didn't remember anything. When I woke up, I found out that Leo had taken me to the hospital and stayed on duty all night. Leo always showed up when I needed him, so I was touched. Early the next morning, Aunt Jenny took Rosy to the hospital. As soon as we met, Rosy immediately ran to hug me.
I was really worried about you. Are you okay? Is there any pain anywhere?
Rosy, I'm okay. I'm just a little tired. Isn't my Rosy coming? Just by seeing you, I'm getting better.
Mom, I'll message you after you get home so that you wouldn't get tired anymore.
Okay, darling. Leo heard all of our conversation. Leo was furious, and he came forward to question me.
Eva, why do you lie to me?
Leo, I didn't mean to. I just haven't had the right opportunity yet.
If I didn't see it with my own eyes today, how long would you hide it from me? You've had a child this old and still casually go back and forth with me?
Leo, don't you like children very much? Besides, how would my having a child affect our feelings like that?
Of course it is, Eva. I love children, but telling me to accept a strange kid as my own is horrible. Eva, I'll give you two options. If you want to keep dating me, you'll have to leave Rosy to your aunt to raise. Otherwise, we should end this relationship.
Leo's attitude changed 180 degrees to the point that I could no longer see the caring man of the past. Through this conversation, I realized that Leo and I were no longer a good fit. Leo made me make a choice between Rosy and him, which made me feel hurt and devastated. I decided to keep quiet, and my romance with Leo ended quickly. I chose singleness to raise my daughter. It was lonely sometimes, but I still had Rosy by my side. Rosy was my motivation that helped me strive every day to give her the happiest and greatest life.